Good morning. Thanks for joining us here on this Friday. I'm Mike Barrs.
And I'm Lindsay Gardner. Action News this morning has complete team coverage of the Matthews Bridge shutdown for you this morning. Our crews are spanned out to bring you every angle of this story. But we want to begin with weather and traffic on the ones, and most importantly with our traffic expert, Derek Odom, telling folks around town how to get around this detour. Derek.
Yeah, this is going to be a big headache for a lot of commuters. I think the number they used yesterday was 100,000 people who use the Matthews Bridge every day. That's a lot of commuters to divert. This is from the north side. You take 95 northbound over here, over to Zoo Parkway, which of course is Heckscher Drive to people who've been in Jacks for a while. You make your way over to the Dames Point Bridge and go southbound, and that will get you into the Arlington area. From the south side of town, you want to take, you can take several alternates. If we can flip to the next map, the Atlantic Boulevard over to Sesame Boulevard, that will get you over to the Hart system, and then from 95 southbound, you can go from 95 to Emerson and take that exit. Right now, of course, that is going to be the main alternate, the Hart Bridge there. Union Street Expressway in downtown over to the Sports Complex exit will get you to the Hart Bridge and get you around this closure. And again, we'll hear all the details about how long this is going to take for them to repair this. JSO is advising 30 to 60 minutes of extra drive time to your morning commute. So leave extra early if you can, or leave later if you can, because the harder the morning rush is going to be a slow one all through town. FHP reporting a crash on 295 northbound at the Dames Point Bridge right at the beginning of the bridge road blockage. So watch out for some extra added delays in that area. That is the very latest from the Safe Touch Security First Alert Traffic Center. More details on this coming up all morning long. Right now, details on a pretty good looking weekend forecast. Here's meteorologist Tom Johnson.
I'm going to use these bridges, the Acosta, the Fuller Warren, to show you that traffic is moving on these two bridges, and also to show you our sky cam to show you how beautiful this Friday is as we start a little bit cooler out there. You can feel it. 66 in Jacksonville. That's at JIA. Some 70s along the coastline, though, the beaches. But elsewhere, 60s are very prevalent across the area. And there's no rain to speak of as of right now. 5 sweep, First Alert Doppler HD. Rain fairly limited. I see tomorrow morning is our best chance for rain in the next 24 hours. Just a coastal shower, especially as we head through Saturday morning. Beyond that, mix of sun and clouds and a pretty stiff breeze. Winds today are going to be 15 to 25 miles an hour. And we have some rough surf and a high risk of rip currents there along the coastline. So not a day to be out there swimming, but the day overall will be pretty. It will be pleasant as we start in the 60s and we top out in the lower 80s. Coming up, a look at that all-important weekend forecast. Mike, Don.
All right, Tom, thank you. Let's get back to the top story. The Matthews Bridge closed indefinitely this morning because of a ship being pulled by tugboats, slamming into the side of it Thursday afternoon. Right now, right at this minute, engineers are assessing the bridge, and the safety zone on the water has been lifted. The waterway is open. The police want you to take extra care when you head out to work this morning.
Make sure you plan on leaving early. Look for any alternate routes. May want to consider for those folks who can adjust their work schedules to leave an hour early, come in an hour early, something to that effect. Some
good advice, definitely. This happened at 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon. My co-anchor, Lindsay Gardner, is out there in the field right now taking, I guess, an assessment of things now that the sun is up out there. And you actually saw an accident earlier this morning. Actually, we were on the air. We actually heard it happen.
All right, so Mike, that makes two. When we were on the air here at 6:30, we almost heard one. And then around 6:42, one happened right here, just where the other one had almost happened. A truck rear-ended a box truck. That's because we're on University Boulevard North, and it's shut down to one lane as traffic's trying to get around this road closure here behind me. I am at the ramp to get onto the Matthews Bridge in the heart of Arlington, University Boulevard North of the Arlington Expressway. Now, this is how folks get into downtown in Arlington, the beaches, Mayport. This is a major artery, and it is now closed. The sign behind me, the sign of what's to come for the days and weeks and months ahead. And as thousands of folks are waking up this morning with questions about what this means for their commute, the Coast Guard also has questions about who was on that ship in the first place. City officials are calling it a miracle that the Matthews Bridge did not come crashing down into the St. Johns River. The impact so significant, the ship's ramp appears to be in better shape than the bridge it slammed into. Still, both need major repairs.
There's large damage on the loading arm or the ramp of the military Sea Lift Command ship.
The U.S. naval ship was being pulled during high tide Thursday afternoon by 4 tugboats owned by Moran Towing Services, heading south from Blunt Island to the North Florida shipyard. The Coast Guard still has questions.
Why the vessel went under there without checking the air draft to see how it would fit under.
Mayor Alvin Brown and council members Dr. Johnny Gaffney and Jim Love had some questions of their own and set sail shortly after the crash to get some answers. In a statement, Dr. Gaffney tells Action News, quote, "We have been unofficially told that it appears the towing company is responsible because when they're towing the ships, they usually have sailors on it. They would have lowered the arms. This time, there was no personnel," end quote. Now a thorough investigation is underway to determine who is at fault. Now, as incredible as it is to see that gouge out of the Matthews Bridge right in the heart of it, imagine being one of the eyewitnesses that saw and heard that massive ship slam into the bridge yesterday afternoon. Action News' Deanna Batneshi is live this morning on the east side where she's been speaking with those eyewitnesses. Deanna.
Well, I just want to give you a little update of what JSO said. They said that the safety zone in the water under the Matthews Bridge has been lifted, but we can't say the same about the traffic situation on the Matthews Bridge. Now, we're told it could take months before anything is even fixed on this bridge, and that worries a lot of local drivers. The painful sound of metal screeching got Vantana Zyrath's attention Thursday.
Just a big old loud crash.
A huge ship, the USNS First Lieutenant Harry L. Martin, had just hit the Matthews Bridge.
They said it looked like a knife cutting butter.
Sam Cook heard all about it from a dock worker who felt something very bad was about to happen.
They don't usually see them that big down that far. And yeah, he said they were kind of going, it's pretty close.
Moments later,
all of a sudden I saw a cop just swerve around the middle of the street and block off the bridge.
Vicki Stewart says police surrounded the bridge. She couldn't believe what they told her.
Wow. Did that big old boat not see that bridge?
And then came the traffic.
Bumper to bumper. I mean, you know, didn't nobody know where to go.
For hours, Stewart watched frustrated commuters desperately try to make their way home.
They didn't have nowhere but one place to go, and they was all trying to, all the way from around the stadium, all the way from this, everybody was trying to get on that one little bridge.
It was a traffic nightmare. These witnesses' worry is far from over.
Very nervous. I don't know about going over the Matthews Bridge now.
I don't see how they could repair it unless they weld it or melt it down or something. I think it's going to be a long, drawn-out situation like it's been.
Again, JSO officers tell me that FDOT engineers are assessing the bridge this morning. Lindsay, back to you.
All right, Deanna, thank you. Yes, as we heard from JSO, be patient. We also want to tell folks at home, be prepared because a lot of people waking up this morning and not knowing exactly what this means for their commute. We also are trying to figure out what this means for the bridge moving forward. We know the inspection alone is going to take several days before they're even able to get a game plan together, engineers, as to what exactly needs to be done to repair the bridge. I want to bring in Brian Baker. He's been speaking with engineers this morning. Tell us exactly what damage the bridge sustained and also what's next for the repairs.
Well, directly under the bridge deck that you drive on is what's called the superstructure. These are the steel beams, horizontal beams that form the span. That is the direct support for the bridge, and if they're damaged, which they are, the bridge doesn't function.
The gouge in the Matthews Bridge may look relatively small, but to engineers Action News spoke with, the point of impact makes the damage look massive.
Being hit in the structure itself, or the superstructure, which is the most vulnerable part, and being hit laterally, that's a big deal.
UNF civil engineering professor Adel Asafti says the impact may have caused a chain reaction.
So the damage might not be localized for this specific element. It can extend to the next element, or this element, or the gusset plate right here, or the whole entire connection.
He says an inspection could take days. A repair on the complex cantilever truss structure could take months.
This is no overnight fix.
Absolutely not. It is a sophisticated process of reviewing the design, going through the inspections very thoroughly, and then come up with a very good detailed repair plan. And the repair itself is not going to be easy.
Depending on what an inspection reveals, the entire section of the bridge may need to be cut out and replaced. But we wanted to know,
is this the nail in the coffin for the Matthews Bridge?
I hope not. I hope not. It's vital, and I mean, to replace it, we will need hundreds of millions of dollars to replace such a bridge.
So in 2011, this bridge was termed functionally obsolete. What does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean it's unsafe, Lindsay. It just means it's outdated based on current bridge technology, we know it's 60 years old, so the thing has still been safe to drive on. It's just not, bridges aren't built that way anymore, Lindsay.
So there's a lot of complex layers here to this repair work. Thank you there, Brian. To add to that complexity, we know the Matthews Bridge was already undergoing construction before the ship slammed into it. And some of the alternate routes this morning, including MLK, also undergoing construction. So let's get you right to our Derek Odom with more information on how you can detour around the Matthews Bridge shutdown. Derek.
Good morning, Lindsay. Yeah, it's going to be